Hi there, my little reading buddies. How are you today? This is your own Gomuti auntie. How have you guys been? Auntie is back again today with a very funny story. It's a story about three friends and they are making something in the kitchen. Yes, they are making a soup and it gets all messy and gets little funny at the same time. Do you want to know what story we are talking about? Yes, this is pumpkin soup, and the story is written by Helen Cooper, and this is a Sunburst book. And let us jump on to the story. Pumpkin soup. Deep in the woods, there's an old white cabin with pumpkins in the garden. There's a good smell of soup, and at night, with luck, you might see a bagpiping cat through the window and a squirrel with a banjo and a small singing duck. So these are the three friends auntie was talking about, the cat and the squirrel and the duck. Pumpkin soup. The best you ever tasted. Made by the cat who slices up the pumpkin. Made by the squirrel who stirs in the water. Made by the duck who scoops up a pipkin of salt and tips it just enough. They slurp the soup and play their song, then pop off to bed in a quilt stitched together by the cat, embroidered by the squirrel, and filled with fine feathers from the duck. And it's peaceful in the old white cabin. Everyone has his own job to do. Everyone is happy, or so it seems. But one morning, the duck woke up early. He tiptoed into the kitchen and smiled at the squirrel's special spoon. Quack, quack, wouldn't it be fine, he murmured, if I could be the head cook? Quack, quack. He drew up a stool, hopped on top, and reached until his beak just touched the tip of the spoon. Down it clattered. Then the duck trotted back to the bedroom, held up the spoon, and said, "Today it's my turn to stir the soup." Now comes the trouble. "That's mine," squeaked the squirrel. "Stirring is my job. Give that back." "Meow. You're much too small," snapped the cat. "We'll cook the way we always have." But the duck held on tight until the squirrel tugged with all his might, and whoops! The spoon spun through the air and bopped the cat on the head. Oh my God, that must have been painful. Then there was trouble, a horrible squabble, a row, a racket, a rumpus in the old white cabin. not staying here," wailed the duck. "You'll never let me help with anything." And he packed up a wheelbarrow, put on his hat, and waddled away. "You'll be back," stormed the cat, "after we've cleaned up." And the squirrel shook his spoon in the air, but the duck didn't come back. Not for breakfast, not even for lunch. "I'll find him," scoffed the cat. "He'll be hiding outside. I bet he's in the pumpkin patch." But the duck was not in the pumpkin patch. They could not find him anywhere. So they waited all that long afternoon. The cat watched the door. The squirrel paced the floor. "That duck will be sorry when he comes home," they muttered. But the duck didn't come home, not even at soup time. The soup wasn't tasty. They'd made it too salty. Yuck! Too much salt. They didn't feel hungry anyway. They both sobbed over supper, and their tears dripped into the soup and made it even saltier. "We should have let him stir the soup," sniffled the squirrel. "He was only trying to help," wept the cat. "Let's go out and look for him." The cat and the squirrel were scared as they wandered down the path in the dark, dark woods. They feared for the duck, all alone with the trees, and the foxes, and the wolves, and the witches, and the bears. But they couldn't find him. On and on they trudged until they reached the edge of a steep, steep cliff. "Maybe he fell down that," wailed the cat. "I'll save him," squeaked the squirrel, and he scrambled down on a long, shaky rope. He searched all around on the ground, but he couldn't find the duck. Then the cat whispered in a sad little voice, "Duck might have found some better friends." "He might," sighed the squirrel. "Friends who let him help." And the more they thought about it as they plodded back, the more they were sure they were right. But when they were almost home, they saw light shining from the old white cabin. "It's Duck!" they shrieked as they burst through the door. And the duck was so happy to see them. He was also very hungry, and though it was late, they thought they would all make some pumpkin soup. When the duck stirred, the cat and the squirrel didn't say a word. Not even when the duck stirred the soup so fast that it slopped right off the pot. Not even when the pot got burnt. And the duck showed the squirrel how to measure out the salt. And The soup was still the best you ever tasted. So once again, it was peaceful in the old white cabin until the duck said, I think I'll play the bagpipes now. Oh, oh. And that is the end of the pumpkin soup. You see, sometimes we are so particular that certain things are done a particular way. When we play with our friends, we set the rules and we are very particular that our friends follow the rules that we laid. And then we have all been in the situation where our friends wanted to contribute and make their own rules, and we didn't like it and we ended up fighting. Has that happened to you? Oh, it has happened to me all the time. And I've also seen it happen to my son and to his friends. Sometimes we just have to think playing is all that's important. It doesn't matter who lays the rule and who follows what rules. Doesn't matter. End of the day, we all have to have fun. Isn't that right? And another thing that it strikes me from the story, this little duck was good at just one thing, which is measuring the salt into the pumpkin soup. Now, when you want to do something that you're not good at, you should first learn from the expert. Now, had the duck waited and asked the squirrel if he can stir, the squirrel would have shown him how to stir, and then he would have learned from the expert, and there wouldn't have been so much of a splosh, and they may not even have fought in the first place, right? And now he wants to play the bagpipe. God only knows what happened in the old white cabin that night with all that horrible noise of the duck trying to play the bagpipes, and we don't know what happened, if they fought or what did they do. We don't know. Did they compromise? Alright, so this is a very funny story. Auntie enjoyed this story. Did you guys like it? Alright, if you like this story and if you have not subscribed to Little Story Station yet, please click on that red button that says subscribe and like and share, and let your friends know about Little Story Station. Auntie will meet you with another fun story or a story about animals or something very interesting. Until I meet next time, take care, and I hope you guys are reading a lot of books. See you guys next time. Bye.